acknowledge and you take both with such grace and giving each of that importance. And I think it's kind of something you've mastered it over the several years, and that's the reflection.
Yeah, I think I've learned from experiences, and I've always learned it from my seniors also, because discipline in work is very important. That's one thing I always follow. Your commitment, sincerity, and how you behave with people. All this is a combination in this field, and you need to be diplomatic at times.
Yes.
The way you talk, what you talk, you have to be very, very particular about all that. And this is a field which requires all that. You can't just because I'm very open or I'm very frank, you can't just criticize somebody. Or, of course, you have to point out certain mistakes are there. Okay, like when you're asked for, you others unnecessarily don't give opinions on, and don't be judgmental on others, because this field is like that. Because see, in cinema, you have to work with everybody. You don't know whom you're going to work with tomorrow. And so you have to respect. And of course, if you find negative elements, keep them away. That's about it. Just ignore it. Keep it away. That's fine. And don't keep talking about it, or don't propagate it, or don't try to criticize. Or, there's no point in that.
Being sensitive, isn't it? Being sensitive of
Absolutely.
in their life.
Correct.
If I ask you, if a lot of people have heard and have have spoken to, and even in my daily life being a doctor, a lot of them have actually either stopped a habit or started one. Or have you got anything like that you would like to share?
Actually, culinary skills. Actually, I cook. I don't know if I can call it a habit. But now it's like, I cook. I'm quite okay. I'm not quite okay. I cook well, actually, because especially all the
Let me be the judge.
Please be my guest anytime. Come, I'll serve you with all the best dishes. Anyway, like especially the North Malabar cuisine and all the traditional stuff. I just love it. And we had one Meenakshi in my house, because my mother didn't know to cook. She's a gynecologist. Yeah. And so we had a lady to take care of us. And from when I was 1, she came, and she was with us till she passed away when she was 97, actually. Yeah. So she's a strong part of me, Meenakshi. Her name is Meenakshi Amma. And she was an ardent film lover. She was a fantastic cook, and I've learned so much from her, like so many lovely, lovely traditional, as we say in Malayalam, Nadan dishes. And I must tell you something, they're all so healthy, that's one beauty about this Kerala cuisine. You don't have this thing, enna and everything. You use coconut, but pacha coconut, raw coconut. You don't fry it. There are dishes where you have arthar sadari and all that, but otherwise, a normal routine, you have normal coconut, which is very healthy, they say. And coconut oil, whatever they saute and all that. So those kind of little dishes. And of course, the biryanis, the non-veg curries and all that. So now what I'm telling you is, now it's like all of us, we are all part of cooking. Like some days I cook and some days my wife cooks. So it's like, no, you do this today or I have to do. It's not like that. And I have been experimenting. Like after my classes, evening, if I'm free, I experiment on something what you see on the social media. And there are so many lovely dishes that are coming out. But I must tell you that that's all over now. I'm into my intermittent fasting. I'm going to get back to work. I need to lose weight. I can't. I said, now I'll cook what you eat. Like yesterday, I made biryani and I had only a little bit. I said, you all finish it, and it's like that, because if I start experimenting my culinary and if I start eating, that's the end of it. So I said, no, now I have to.
I think a lot of us have
put on weight.
Yeah, we all have to gain some COVID calories.
Absolutely. I've been working out, I've been doing a little bit of dancing, I do my cardio, but that's not enough for this lockdown consumption is quite heavy. So that's one aspect. So habits as such, I think that is one habit. And another thing is I love watching films, and I've got up a lot of beautiful, olden Malayalam films, Satyamarsh's films. I adore his films, Satyamarsh, Nasi sir, all the black and white films, and it's all available on YouTube. So I used to talk to my guru Hariharan sir. Whenever I talk to him, he'll share a lot of fantastic and incredible anecdotes about Prem Nasir sir and stuff, because he's worked with them.
Yes.
And so in that way, Haran sir used to. Sorry.
Yeah, I was hoping, if you could message me some of the movies that you would recommend.
Yes, I'll surely do that. You must see all those films. See, not for anything, it's another era altogether, and they're kind of working. And I try to analyze, my God, how they would have worked, because the kind of outdoors they had, the heroines like Sheila Amma, Bharati Chechi, and Sharada Ma, Kavya Purnima Chechi, the kind of roles she's done. She's acted as Satyamarsh's wife, and my God, incredible. I called her. I saw this film, Odale, and I called Purnima Chechi, and Moine, she was just laughing. She's very fond of me. I worked with her in Nagarshtadangal, Namukku Park, and so many films. She's such a great legend, and as one of the senior most artists who's experienced all these eras with all these greats.
And
right from Satyamarsh, Nasi sir, Mammootka, Lalaton, to the present generation. So I was talking to her, and I thought I must call her, and I said, Chechi, I saw this, and then she just told me about certain incidents. Anna, adu cheyum ingane or Anna dialogue and she was raving about Satyamarsh's performance. So these are things I really, treasure, these kind of. And even Hariharan sir, I was talking to him about some of his masterpiece works with M.T. sir before Nagarshla, Idavadile Pucha, Pucha Valathu Mrugangal. These are brilliant films of 70s and 80s. So I was sharing with them, and Haran sir used to come on. Bellam is another great film Hariharan sir did with Nasi sir and Madhu sir. It was just before Panjali. It was a big film. So that film, and sir, you was talking about, because Hariharan sir he's one director who's brought in a kind of fresh wave always in films, especially when regarding to music. He's brought in a lot of North Indian music directors, from Ravindra Jain. Of course, Salil Chaudhary has done only one, and Salil Chaudhary has only done background score for this film. That is Bella. And Devendra Master is on the music. Then other than that, Bombay Ravi, Ravindra Jain, Raghunath Seth for Aranyakam, Atma Vil Mutti Vilichadu Bole. Then he's brought in Uttam Singh for Prem Pujari, who's done Dil To Pagal Hai. Yeah, so he was a music director. So Haran sir has always experimented, and he's brought in a fresh kind of, and that is always, it's always enriched art lovers and music lovers in cinema, in Kerala especially. So he's played, you take the songs of Sujata, which was in 73 or 74, Nasi sir and Bharati Chechi, Hariharan sir's direction, KTC. Beautiful songs like this, Talipu, Pilipu, that certain song.
Oh, you're
then Ashrita Valsalane, which Asha Bhonsle ji sang. Then for Ravindra Jain, then Swayamvara Shubhadina Mangalangal. That is Asha ji's song again. For Bharati Chechi.
You a little bit more. I love your singing.
Oh my God. I can't sing. I'm just a music lover. So these kind of films, these kind of songs. So that's another thing, because we have a lot of time. But normally when we work, see, I'm a person, I can't just browse and see half of a film and go. I need to see a film at a stretch. So in that way, I've caught up with a lot of international films. Beautiful international films I saw. And that's a major thing I caught up this time. Then, of course, certain lovely books I read, whatever I've read before. Then I love to read autobiographies. And recently, the one I really wanted to read is about Sridevi ji. The Eternal Screen Goddess. It's a beautiful book. It's about her film journey, written by Satyat Naik. He's written that book. It's a beautiful autobiography on Sridevi Ji. Right from her, I'm an ardent fan of hers, and I think her work discipline is so. I have no words to explain. That's a kind of, I think no artist is like her. The kind of contribution, her body of work. When you see her songs, her films, so many languages. We just know about the Hindi and Tamil. You should see the kind of work she's done in Telugu. My God, with all the greats from the age of 16. So that's another thing I explored this time. I was reading her book, and whenever I see a film that I haven't seen, immediately I'll go and watch that. Like her old Telugu films. And then I used to wonder, my God, this person is like, look at the kind of work she's done in this short span of time. Like, absolutely, such a great loss. Don't even tell me about that. So that's that. So these are the habits actually, and being in touch with loved ones, relatives. I love to call people and some of my friends, not everyone, some of them, and then messages, of course. We inquire about everybody. Then a lot of people who are going through tough times, people whom I know, who worked with me. Lot of people called, a lot of people, ask us for help, and whatever little way, humble way, whatever way I can do, because it's a tough time for everybody. So I try to help. And like a lot of in cinema, it's a lot of our colleagues, especially the technicians, artists also. So it's a very tough time, and we have to overcome this. That's what I feel. We have to overcome, and we will overcome. And I told you, we'll come with a bang.
Yes, definitely. There is no doubt about that. While you were singing, I was thinking, and I remembered about. Someone mentioned about your voice the other day. I've always heard, and you always had that beautiful voice that when you act in movies, the kind of emotions that you bring through your voice is amazing. And recently, people have started discovering that voice of yours, that very special voice. Did you enjoy doing the dubbing, or is that something that you're going to do more of as well?
I've always dubbed for my films. Initially, Krishnendra used to do for my earlier films.
Yes.
Everything. Sargam, Kabuliwala, Stome Kamaladalam, all that Krishnendra did. And because it was a transition time, and I had a very nasal voice. I still have that. And that it's neither grown up nor young, and so the modulation doesn't work with that character. It might be a little jarring. So that's one reason they used to tell me. I used to ask them if I could dub, because an artist is not complete without dubbing. You need to dub your voice, your own voice. So then I started insisting. I used to plead to the directors, and then I started dubbing. Pranama I've dubbed. Then, of course, in a serious way, it started with Ghazal actually, director Kamal's film. Ghazal Samuham, Satyanandika's film, and from then on, I took up, and then Manate Velli Kotteru was a film. What molded me was Fazil sir. Actually, he told me the nuances, how I had to, work on the voice. And let me tell you one thing. Then after that, all my films I've been dubbing. Tamil also, some very big films I've dubbed. And Telugu I haven't dubbed. Hindi also, like Bulbulaya I dubbed, and Queens. I did a film called Queens, Destiny of Dance. It's on performing transgenders. I'll send you the link. It's there on YouTube. When you get time, you should watch that. It's a very interesting thing.
Shiju was talking about it.
Okay, yeah, you must see that. It's a very interesting storyline. Seemaji, Shiva Vishwas, and myself. I did the protagonist, and it was a very, very different experience for me to perform. Of course, I enjoyed doing it. Very challenging role, and of course, working with beautifully talented transgender artists. Around 45 of them. I was with them for almost more than a month in Jaipur. We were living in a 7-star hotel in Chomu, Simaji, myself, the main artist and crew, and we were shooting in the palace. So what I'm saying is, so that dubbing process has been happening, and it's like a sadhana.
Yes.
It's just like dancing. As you dub, you improve your modulation, you improve your voice. Even if you take the great actors of today, they've been dubbing for so many years. So it's like dubbing is another whole process of bringing out the emotional factor, the your histrionics is again, redone in front of a mic watching the screen. So it's another very tough exercise, and you need to be well versed. But let me tell you, as you dub films, that's a kind of sadhana. It's a
Yes.
kind of practice
You can
which
only
makes
be-
it perfect. That is, you know about it. I think you must have done. Have you done some films?
No, I
of yours?
haven't.
You
I
haven't.
haven't,
Yeah, because Kutti, you were a baby that time. Maybe I think Sadayam also you didn't role.
no, it was someone else who dubbed for me.
Would have done, yeah. So no, that was the normal routine also. When they wouldn't let heroines dub, that was the worst. But I keep telling Shobana, like I said, what a beautiful voice you have, and
Very
because of
unique.
the accent. Yeah, and no, she's got a very textured voice, and you should listen to her film Mitra, My Friend, which won
I've
her a national
watched
award.
that movie. It's beautiful.
It's her voice. It's her voice.
Really?
And, it's her voice. And I think with this film, Bhagirachi Chechi did this new film because they said that there's an accent problem. But I think it should be like Hindi films. Whatever your voice is, you have to dub. It's like that.
Yes.
Whether you have a cracked voice or whether you don't have a sweet voice, you dub, and then people get used to it. That's your individual voice. Like Rani Mukherjee, it's such a beautiful voice now when you hear that. Tabu, all these great artists, like they've dubbed their own voice. The moment you come in here, they say, no, your voice is not nice. You'll have an accent, so we'll have a dubbing artist. But now it's not. It's changed. Like I think all the youngsters are taking up dubbing. And this particular film, Lucifer, it just happened like Raju Prithviraj contacted and they wanted me to dub for that. And they told me it's for the antagonist against Lalit. So I was a little apprehensive. I said, my God, me? What am I going to do? Because I have this image of this little younger brother or this friend and younger brother. That's what I've been in life also with Lalit. So I can't imagine myself being a negative character against Mohanlal. This is not what I said. Because this is going to work. I said, are you sure you want me to? Chetan, we'll just try that and why don't you just come in? And then I went there. It just fell in place. It's all like I just did dubbing as a normal film, like normally how we do. Because that was the first time I was doing it for another actor.
And the reviews
normally
been
only for
amazing.
us.
And the reviews been amazing.
Absolutely. I think the full credit goes to Prithviraj because he's an incredible a person with a lot of conviction and a great hard work. I mean, the kind of hard work he's done for the project and to bring out a project like this with such a big star, it's not a joke. I mean, at a very young age, it's a great achievement. And for me, he had dubbed the whole thing as a reference. So I could listen to it and reproduce. I could just reproduce. So that really helped me. And after that, I did a couple of films. Lalatin's this Big Brother I did for Ranbaz. And that's like, I enjoy doing it. Like, it's not like a dubbing artist or nothing like that. It's another area to explore and, I enjoyed it. And then I dubbed for a film called Kung Fu Master, done by Edmund Shine, for the hero. It's a beautiful film. It's not come on the OTT platform. So when it comes, you should watch. I think it's one of the finest stunt choreography done in Malayalam cinema.
Oh
There
my
is no
God.
gimmicks. They call it some kind of a kickboxing kind of thing. It's absolutely fascinating. That movie, the artists, they're all newcomers. And the way Edmund Shine has brought out that film and the way they have performed, the heroine, the hero, the villain, all of them, brilliant. And I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, the marketing was not up to the mark when it released. But I think when it comes on the OTT platform, people will really appreciate it.
Yes.
And for the protagonist, I dubbed for that. And now Marikkar, Kunyali Marikkar, which is also another film, I dubbed for Arjun sir. He's done a very major role in that. So that's another experience that I enjoy it. Like anything artistic and creative it's absolute bliss for me.
Exactly, and this is why I love talking to you. Every time I've had this opportunity to talk to you, not just on screen like this, but a casual chat. Oh my God, you take me to a different level, and you make me how do I put it? It's an inspirational talk each time. It's honestly, even the last time that I spoke to you, and you mentioned that about myself, like when I'm returning to art and the journey, and I was kind of reflecting on how I delayed that a bit, but the encouragement that you gave and the support, and that's amazing. And during this time, there's so many people like myself who had probably due to career and family have art, they've left art behind and now took up art again as a form of therapy.
That's another great revelation that's happened because of this lockdown. As you just mentioned, see, I'll just share my experience. I've been under Guru Dr. Padma Subramanian, who's one of the greatest acharyas, and I've had the blessing of being in her institution, learning from her, dancing with her. And I always think of that with Anjali. And that's my bhakti towards her. I mean, she's one of the living, what do we say, a goddess of arts. Saraswati Devi, Sakshal Saraswati Devi Rupam Shri. For everybody, not just me. But we are the privileged, blessed ones to be under. This lockdown is another blessing for me to say that I had the blessing of listening to her Natyashastra lectures for almost 25 days. She used to do lectures for us every day for a selected group of students, and now I'm attending her classes, online classes, where she's teaching us beautiful items. She's taken a group of senior students and she's teaching us. I mean, this wouldn't have happened because she's such a busy person as a performer, as a scholar. As as an acharya, she's always traveling. She's performing. And I don't think even to get to see Paduka, or to get to listen to her lectures. Of course, we get to see her seminars, her lectures in person, but that's very rare. But this was such a blessing for all of us. For me, I think this is the greatest thing that has happened to me. I must say, as a dancing student. My online classes, this side is that's a different story and that's a different experience. But this experience of learning from the great master and the kind of anecdotes she shares with us, because her anecdotes are like with the greatest of greatest masters. Like she'll talk about Mevadhyar, Adura Mepule, then about great scholars. And she'll give us different, and it's so inspiring. Not just the dance element, and then Dr. Padma's way of teaching us, she will bring out every aspect of a particular piece or an item that is being taught. Right from the significance of its composition, the ragam, the talam, the kind of, as we call it, sancharis that are being adapted into it, the kind of nritta that has to be incorporated, how it has to be taken forward, how it has to be projected, how it has to be internalized. You need to learn from it. Now, that's a great blessing. In fact, today morning also we had a session and she taught us this beautiful Muthuswami Dikshitar Kriti on Meenakshi. Meenakshi Ne Mudam Dehi. It's a beautiful Puri Kalyani song, which Dr. Padma's brought out the aspect of the universal mother that is Meenakshi. I'm going to share it with you now. What she told us, we know Mother Meenakshi as Meena Lochani, who has the shape of the eyes of the fish. It's just not that. It's about how a mother fish, by just a glance, the little fish is contented. He's like his stomach is full. He's happy. If the mother fish just glances at the little fish. So he said that's the philosophy behind this concept of Madurai Meenakshi, named Meenakshi because she's like the universal mother whose glance will give bliss to the bhakta or the devotee.
Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps just listening and watching.
This is what she explained to us when she started teaching us this, and she did a small piece. We have a small sanchari on that where she shows the mother fish going like that and watching like that, and there is this little kutti fish that's swimming, and it goes and it just looks like that, and the mother fish gives like that. Can't you give me one, like vision of a moment of drishti on me that will give me bliss? This is the philosophy that goes in, and see how she's interpreted that.
Oh my
So
God.
as a dancer, I must say, these are moments, like absolutely, like
Another level.
I've had this great moments with Dr. Padma, learning from her in person in her school, and with this lockdown, this is added bonus for people like me and so many other students. I think she's doing a workshop for the NRIs in the US on Natyashastra.
Oh, wow.
So many aspects of Natyashastra which she brings out through the pedagogy that she's revived and brought out, which we've all been trained in, and the importance of that, and how your body is trained to, just forget your body and then get into the art, to forget yourself. Yeah, that's the philosophy she gives. You're trained to forget yourself and just merge with the art. So that is another great experience I've had during this lockdown. So every time we get into these sessions, or all of us say, we're so blessed. Thank you for the lockdown. But where do we get 20 days of Natyashastra lectures? 2 hours of lecture. It starts from 5 to 7. She goes into every aspect of Natyashastra, and it's highly academical. That's the beauty. It's not like she's such a great scholar that she goes into in-depth aspects of Natyashastra, and she taught us so many beautiful aspects of that. So that is a great.
So you're so lucky, and I really, I know for the fact that your students are extremely lucky, because all what you are learning from your great guru is what you're going to pass down to the next generation.
That's my duty, and that's what I am here for, because I've had the blessing of learning it from such a great way. So in my little way, I should share it, and they are enjoying it, and I can see the transformation in many of the students. I have 3 boys, men, I must say, so passionate, and with this misconception of men getting effeminate because of dance, and so people don't send boys to. You can't blame them, because you need to be. There is a process in which you have to teach traditional arts, and that's the way it's designed. So the exercise, due to socio-economic changes, and it evolved, and it became suitable for a female anatomy and a body. So the exercise will change. But when a man does it now, this present generation, when we learn it, there is a way in learning. Otherwise, it can get effeminate. There is a way in doing Adavas techniques. There is a way in internalizing bhava. You can even do a Nayika-oriented padam or a varnam or whatever, Ramnaya. But there has to be a different integration there. It has to be a Paramatma Jivatma connection where you have bhakti. So after the gender thing doesn't come in, and that is one aspect that has to be. That is my humble effort, because youngsters are missing so much on this rich cultural heritage we've inherited, and this traditional art is so rich. The training process, what it can do to you as a person, as a in character building, in understanding our tradition and valuing it. So that is being lost with this terrible misconception of getting affiliated. Otherwise, so that is my aim, and I take separate classes for them. I never mix them with girls. Boys have to be taught separately. There is a way in teaching them, and if you have a male Natavana, better. Because there is a way in telling them how the exercises has to be done.
Yes.
So I can see these, there were around 7 of them, but now 3 of them regularly come from my classes. There is a lot of strain. Physical strain is there. When you learn the adavas initially, it's a lot of strain. But I see the magical transformation that's happening in very, 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 small way. It just changes them, and I can see that perfection coming. Just the namaskaram we do, the tattingumbadal we do. This boy who came to me, he was so stiff and he can't even stretch, he couldn't even, he's not flexible at all. But now you should see him doing this. He stretches like that, and when he does that namaskaram, it's like, I'm so confidence matralla that ayalda bhakti his bhakti towards that's what reflects. You need that passion inside, otherwise it won't reflect it. So that's another humble effort, but it's a tough job to bring in boys and tell them. I always tell them, see, this is a masculine thing you're doing, and this is it is a traditional thing, and there's a way men have to do it.
Yes.
So you're doing it that way, and there is no discussion about is the FML kind of the paternal because I never went through that. I always I've never ever, because at a very young age I got into this training, and I never felt I was learning something girls were learning, and I have the blessing of going in.
You don't come across like you've got a feminine touch. You dance like
that's a totally different topic altogether. Getting effeminate it's a different psychological issue. There are so many things. It's a totally different debate altogether. You can't connect it to classical dance training. That's what I'm trying to say. And my blessing was, even when I started with Saswati teacher, it was always special. I was alone. I was never in a group of girls or I never, because that can really, when your routine of this dance, especially a growing age, every week you go and sit with 25 girls and sit there, and your immediate preference is girls. You look at them and the way you try to imitate them, so automatically that will come into you. So those things are there, and so that's another humble attempt, and I'm enjoying that, and they're also enjoying it. So that's another.
I have to say they're so lucky, and I have to thank you so much. This time that you have actually given to me, and the time that we have spent, we discussed about all these things, and I think you touched upon very, very sensitive areas about COVID, your experience, and you really took me to a spiritual level in art. I must say that, and also how you have explored with your guru and the philosophical approach, how the conversations. It is amazing. I really can't actually wait to come and see you in person. And
absolutely, it's very inspiring, and it's always beautiful to share such treasured experiences. These are all, and with artists especially, and people who value it. So when we share it, you share that moment with them, and then they value it. It's same with me. When I work with my senior artists, I listen to so many of their incredible, very heartfelt stories of work. The working times, difficulties during work times, how they've coped up with that, how they've enjoyed all that. Anyway, it was such a beautiful session, and thank you, Chaitanya. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's try and meet in person when it's all over and everything.
It will be over very soon. I'm sure it will be over very soon. Yes. Take care. Let's all take care. And my love and regards to Anil and to your lovely children. My regards to them I met, and your beautiful house. I remember coming there. You must visit us next time, and thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you. Bye, Cheta.